Why don't we do G2 then? Because you brought them up. First and foremost, by the way, this is why I do love the LEC. Because when G2 plays Fnatic, all those past years, G2's had the upper hand, it's all about them. They're going to win or lose and mean whatever. Not only did they get to beat the Fnatic team that's built all these players and all these fucking big moves. Meanwhile, Ocelot, he's been criticised, he's done a bad move. But obviously it spawned the fucking legendary Ocelot meme, didn't he? Did the Ronaldo, I'm like, did it. Here's the thing. Understand this, Fnatic. Even if your team became dominant, Sam Matthews can't do that. He can't pull that off. So what I love, Dom, is this. This is a real point I want to make about G2. As much as I still don't think long-term Flakked is going to turn out to be a great ADC, and I don't think they can be like past G2 teams. I actually totally now, beyond even just the playing, see also why they got Tag Armas, mate. He has brought back the fucking real G2 flavor. He actually is embracing it. Because you know what? Last year, people might think, oh, maybe it was just Perks. No, it wasn't just that. It's more like when Perks was gone, and more importantly, they weren't winning, a lot of them just didn't seem to vibe with it. It seemed a bit more like, nah, let's wait until we're winning before we sort of really try to banter. And obviously the whole Reckless thing, maybe they didn't know how he would fit in the equation. Even though as a team, they're not as good as the old great one. It feels like the actual vibes back. Like I think they are going to be like the shit talkers and the troublemakers now. It's fun. I'm glad.
I mean, I think a lot of that comes from Flakked. I mean, his social media personality is just like...
he's had some good ones. Yeah.
Yeah,
sure.
I mean, he's just...
When he tries to ratio his own boss repeatedly, like on a daily basis.
I mean, he ratioed the Pope, so like, what can you do?
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, if you ratio the Pope, I think you take that one. I think the problem with G2 is they don't have like... I don't know. Every game feels like they could win or lose. When you watch G2, you don't know which games, like they could be losing super hard early game to Fnatic, then somehow still win the game. Like caPs is behind an ungodly amount of CS mid because he took Ghost and not TP. And the game versus Misfits, that should have been an easy win. It should have been a walk in the park. And then they just did the classic Elder throw. I mean, it was literally reminiscent of last split, the same exact Elder situation. Throw Elder, and then somehow by like God's grace, they end up winning that game. But like, you don't feel like this team is actually consistent and stable. You just feel like, yeah, I mean, they're like hype driven. Like I feel like they really believe in themselves and they just get in there. And if they play well, that's great. If not, like they're not going to have the structures and things that are going to just carry them through some times where the team is just playing poorly, which is something that I've seen a lot happen to teams. It reminds me of like Schalke last spring, where they had the same type of vibe. And I don't know if this has to be because BB's on the team or not, but they had the same vibe where they were winning and then they drop like 8 games in the middle where you just don't know what's happening. And then suddenly they just like get their mojo back. They're winning again. You don't feel like they're actually doing anything that different. It just feels like their confidence is different at different points throughout the year. So I'm really wondering if G2 is going to have that like level of consistency to ever be a true top team, or if they're just going to continue bouncing back between like, oh, we played well this game. Oh, we played shit this game. Like what are they taking between games to actually level up their play over the course of the entire split? That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, that's why I made it more like what they're doing outside of the server. Because my problem in the server still is like, I still don't really believe in this roster yet. Like whatever they saw in those scrims and those tryouts that they believed was going to be epic. Because by the way, unless you think they're lying and they were trying to save money, totally legitimate opinion if people want to think that. They really did pick this thinking that they were geniuses. And this was like some super genius pickup. And like, we could have gone with big names. We went with this guy because he's like the truth or whatever. I haven't seen that yet. And so my problem is I still don't really know what, like in line with what you're saying, I don't know what their identity is still, dude. And it can't, unfortunately, I'll repeat it just one more time. I'm not going to go into it, obviously. It can't just be caPs wins us the game because caPs doesn't do that anymore. Like at the moment, he's still having his issues, mate. Like he's clearly not bad, but there's still a game missing for me.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with that, but the way that I see it is like if caPs is not even playing well and this team is 5-2 in like the first 7 games, like that should be a pretty good sign. Like he's still not looking like caPs. If he started looking like old caPs where he's just smurfing on everyone, he's just the best mid laner by far in LEC. With how open LEC is right now, why could this team not just be the best team? Why could they not just be the best team in LEC and win spring? I don't see why not. Like,
not impossible.
I don't think that Flakked will hold them back to that degree where it's like him being a rookie will just make it so they can't win. I think BB will be able to. I mean, we've seen him win a championship in LCS. That guy can perform versus good players. If caPs is in God mode, Jankos is doing his thing. Targamas looks solid. I feel like this team should be good enough to win. To me, I'm still just waiting for caPs. Like I want to see the real caPs play, not this Victor with Ghost that's down 40 CS to humanoid. Like, I don't know who that guy is. Also, like, let's be real. Like, he should have died way more in that game. I mean, the first shuffle, like, Razor just missed his Q. It was a free kill. Like, he could have literally into that whole game with the way that he was playing that lane phase. So, I'm just waiting for old G2 caPs, man. Like, I don't know if he needs to change the name back or what, or shave his head. Like, I don't care what the fuck this guy does, but do something to bring back that guy because that guy was a fucking beast. And the thing that concerns me is like, when caPs was that good, he was rank 1 in solo queue in in 2020, right? Then I look at his solo queue stats and he's like playing the game a lot. So it's not like he's burnt out and he's not playing the game. When I last checked, he was like top 10. I'll check right now. Let's see. He's ranked 12. Like, this guy is actually playing the game just as much as he was before. I hope he still loves the game the same way he does. But if he's like in that form, something is like happening where I feel like he doesn't believe in himself as much on stage as he did before. I don't think that it's the level of his competition just being so good that he can't beat them the same way. I feel like it's coming from like within him. Like, I think that he just feels differently about the competition himself.
Let's get into that, because that's a good sidebar we could do. So one, I will say this. I pointed out last week, but I'll do a different version of it this time. This is why when people have debates about people's careers, I mean, everyone should have seen this with the LeBron James debate. You can try and track and figure out like, oh, where would he be in a couple of years and what would he have to do? But until their actual career ends, you don't really know where they rank, because what you do is when they go to their peak, you get super high off the peak and you think, fuck, if he maintains this is best ever, like everyone did with caPs. The problem is, like, there's not many careers that people have where you just bang out for 5 straight years and every year you're a genius. Like, people tend to have a couple of years where they're amazing, some where they're not as much. Maybe you rediscover yourself if you're an Odoamne or something. You know, you have a career arc and up and down. Well, my problem is this. This is also one of the reasons, I know it hasn't aged as well on the perk side, why I always favored perks over caPs. Because I always felt like, I know, again, this is aged terribly, but with the old way perks used to play, I mean, I felt like you could play it consistently and not die that much. Like, obviously that's aged terribly. I understand that. I'll give you that part. But I felt like essentially he knew how to be a mid-lane player better, right? Whereas the problem I have with this, and I always said this about both caPs and Hylissang, that playing style is super effective when it really works. And when it drops off 10%, it can fucking wreck you. You can either, like this, lose your whole identity, or you just become an inter. I would even argue maybe it happened to Hylissang a few weeks in years gone past, where he just lost his mojo. You look at, obviously, the Nautilus games with the infamous ones where he just looked like he was just in the game.
He just ran it.
You're like, what are you even going for here? Like, there was nothing there, So here's the problem I have. Now, obviously, in Thorin fashion, I'm going to I'll tell you straight up, I'm going to back into a take that sort of makes like Froggen look really good again.
Okay.
Here's why.
All right.
I made a video years ago about this topic, right? Where one of the worst things about pro players is, especially back then, they have very limited terminology to explain themselves, to articulate themselves. And this, like a lot of pros also aren't very articulate people. They don't read, they're not talking about the game much. They're just, it's all memes and just playing the game. So the problem I always used to have was literally the only description, and it used to be in the brain of a player, binary, was you're either aggressive or, are you ready? Passive. And those two, first of all, that's such an enormous spectrum. And this is my problem with it, Dom. You can have a player who's defensive, who's incredible at it. Guess what? Reckless would fit into that. You can have a player who's super aggressive, who's fucking shit at it. Spoiler, there's been plenty of mid laners who tried. There's plenty of, there's a good one as well. There's plenty of players who tried that. We all know that. So my problem is this. First of all, I did a video where I said, the way I separate it like this is, to me, passive typically means you don't take initiative. You wait for them to do something. By default, you don't want to attack people. You want to just farm the game up, right? I think a better term for certain people who are master mage players, Froggen, Power of Evil, there's points in their careers, Jensen, Bjergsen, they're defensive players. That's the difference. It's not that they're just passive, like, I'm not going to do it now. It's that where they're at in their career at that point, they go, right, look, I can't be the guy who's a maniac, actually. In fact, I don't believe in myself. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play a bit more conservative, but I'm going to play it defensively. The reason I say defensively, by the way, is because famously, you couldn't say Froggen is a passive laner. You could say he's a passive mid-lane player, as he doesn't try to roam as much. In lane, he's still going to contest the CS. He's still going to be ahead and say, he's still going to push you out of lane if he can. He's not under his tower, is he? So to me, this is the one area I'm bringing up now. In the same way as famously with junglers, you have people like Peanut who are fucking sick mechanically. But then if you go to a Cinderhawk patch, he's in trouble. That to a fan doesn't make sense because what they think is, well, if he's that mechanically genius, I mean, usually it's the bomb-ass players who just play, the tank. So he must be able to do that as well. Whoa. No, that does not mean that the super mechanical player could be as good as the defensive tank player who's just like a master of pathing. And I think that's what you're seeing with some of these players now. Like caPs hasn't yet figured out how to be a conservative player, mate, and just be like a mage player as much. Like he hasn't got, because it's a different mindset to him. So either, in my opinion, he rolls the clock back, he rediscovers himself and he becomes caPs again, or this has to be he has to reinvent himself as caPs. I guess to be a different player. By the way, he could be a much more skilled version of Power Evil. And you could, like I said last week, you could do a lot with that still. If he knows that that's his identity though, you got to pick.
I think my issue with that is like, in season 10, he was smurfing. Like he was running it on all those
for sure. In summer, yeah.
In summer, he was literally like, give me a soul stealer on any mage and I will carry the whole fucking game alone. Like, get the fuck out of my way. I don't care if all four of you guys are inting the entire game. I will still find a way to win us enough games that we're going to make playoffs and like win and go to worlds and all that shit. So for me, I just don't understand like where that aggression went. Like, I don't know if he just doesn't feel comfortable doing that, but it's not like he's losing lanes by being too aggressive. No. It's like, oh, like when Hillsong was inting, it was like Hillsong was still playing like Hillsong. It was just like way too crazy.
The results were bad. Yeah, of course.
Calm the fuck down with what you're doing. But when I see caPs playing, it's like he's a different player. And I feel like that's the issue there. Also, to your Perks comment, there's a couple things I wanted to hit there. Your Perks comment, I feel like Perks has actually looked like in the last 4 games, like first 3, if we can just throw those out of our mind for Vitality and be like, they fucking ran it down week 1. Half of them had COVID, like whatever the fuck happened there. It was horrible. If you look at the last 4 games,
the only thing sick about those games. Yeah, keep going.
Yeah, it was the only thing sick about those games. The 4 games that they played afterwards, I feel like this team looks pretty solid. I mean, they're 3-1. The one game they lost was to Rogue, and like Perks is not losing lane. He's not doing some ridiculous ints. Like he's playing the lanes properly. He's playing like an actual like good mid laner in Europe. So I feel like that's the part that pisses people off so much about Perks is like, you want him to be like, if you're a Perks hater, you want him to be bad for long enough where you can really shit on him. And he's never bad for long enough where you can, you can actually just continue nailing in the comp. Like, look at this guy. He's a piece of shit. Look at this bum ass mid laner. You never actually get that out of him. Like he'll be bad for like 2 weeks and then he'll have like 2 good weeks. Or he'll be like bad going into playoffs, or like he's going to get shit on, and then he'll like slightly outperform what you think in playoffs. Or he'll go to Worlds and you're like, okay, well now he'll definitely fail. And then he just gets to quarterfinals. That's the problem with Perks haters. That's why they get so fucking mad is they don't actually get time to truly hate on him. They don't get what you get with Reckless, where like now for like all of spring split, you're just going to be laying on the LFL takes. Like,
No, by the way, dude, I'll even give you an example. And I'll even give a sidebar, which people aren't going to understand because they're going to go, like, as always, if I ever give advice, people just go, but you do that. So when I say it or what I'm about to say about being a hater, they're going to go, but you just do that to Reckless. Even though, as I've just pointed out, I mean, roll the clock back. I just said he was really good at his fucking style. I just didn't think he was the best. And I hate his fans. Notice I don't hate him. I just fucking hate you, his fans. I despise you. And I know you have to watch. So fuck it. You're going to take this pain. You're going to get this work, loaded looks. Right, here's what I'll say is this, right? Jesus. This is the problem. As you say, that it's like if we're on a meter, I mean, this kid just used all this orgasm. They're so close to coming, Dom. They're like, everything's what the 4 players been incredible. He's in a bunch of games early. Obviously in Cloud9, you know, he's looking shit even on his champs. He's picking Renekton, looking like an idiot. They're like, oh, this is amazing. Oh, incredible. They're so, just a little bit more. I'm so close. But that's when he would always either playoffs rolls around or he would have like a mega clutch game. And that's the moment where they're always like, fuck. And then the worst thing is they have to go silent for a week. And I'll tell you the example. This is why I'm going to give people advice to not be a hater. You can dislike a player, but if you actually hate, as in you sort of like, you're basing your pleasure metric on them failing. If that's going to be what's going to make you happy, if you do it with a great player, you are in for a bad fucking time. Because here's the example. When I first started, I'll give you a quick.
Let me just tell you, I'm a LeBron hater. I'm a LeBron hater.
Perfect.
And I go through the same thing. I'm like, look at him right now with this bum ass team that he constructed. Like he's gonna fucking be like, he's still like actually insane. Like I'm not actually so delusional where I think he's a bad player. Like he's definitely a top 5 player in the league. Course. And they'll probably end up being something. But like right now, I'm right there, man. It's just I just need him to like either not make playoffs or go out in the first round again, something like that, and then I can like really get my true LeBron hatred out. So,
that's a great example, by the way, because the other one is LeBron. And I've had the same experience in both sports. In the NBA, it was LeBron, because here's the thing. Remember, it also isn't him again. That's why I'm making this key distinction. It's his fans. His fans were the ones who, from literally like 2010 onwards, were like, he's already the GOAT, in my opinion. Like, I think he had like 0 rings or whatever. I think he's already better than John. So already that makes you start going like, hope he fails, because you want them to be wrong. And then the other player, obviously, by the way, is Tom Brady, because I'm just a fan of Peyton Manning and Aaron Rodgers. So this is why, and I'll say the other thing as well. The other reason I also don't hate these players is because I found as a byproduct of sports, when you have a player you like, if they battle a rival and they're both really mega, eventually you just inevitably, if you're not a douchebag, you'll like start to appreciate the other player as well, don't you?
Of course.
You start to go, actually, he is fucking insane. I've got to give him that, haven't you? Like, even if you're a LeBron here, I'm not a huge fan, mate. When he did do that comeback against the Warriors, I was like, that is pretty fucking sick. I can't lie. Like, I mean, that is actually balling.
Yeah, of course. I mean, that was insane. And also, like, the way his game has evolved is actually really impressive. Because he used to, like, just not be able to shoot really. Like, I mean, he could always shoot, but, like, you know what I mean? Like, he
could only go one direction and do it,
Yeah, exactly. Now he's like he's got like a good solid like outside game as well. Like and he's fucking still athletic at 37. Like it's tough for me to be a LeBron hater, but no, it's actually that I hate the fans and I hate the comparisons to like Michael Jordan. As somebody who got to watch Michael Jordan, I mean, you got to watch Michael Jordan. I mean, you were what, like already like in your 30s or 40s?
I was 35. Yeah, exactly. I was like courtside seats. Yeah,
exactly. So yeah, you got to watch Michael Jordan's career. I mean, Michael Jordan was like so fucking good. Like you got like all those like Warriors series. Like it was like the Warriors series for LeBron, like 3 years in a row type shit. Like it was great to watch that guy. So I don't know. I'm more just like a Michael Jordan lover, and that makes me like
that's a great way to say it. Yes,
a LeBron hater.
What you do is this. First of all, for the sake of his fans, you can still enjoy them the film, but only in that sense. You enjoy their pain, essentially. You drink their tears, like the reckless fan tears. And the other angle is, you just think, well, it's just preference, isn't it? I personally prefer Peyton Manning, okay, but for different reasons. Obviously, I like different things about his game. But I'll finish the Brady point. The Brady point was this. I used to be the guy where, because I wanted his fans to shut the fuck up, obviously, there was, first of all, that massive gap where he didn't win the Super Bowl. So I was like, he's never going to win it again. It was all like the fucking defensive coach. You idiots.
Yeah, how did that age?
Yeah, listen, not great, but okay. And then this is the one that really killed me, because I know everyone in media also got fucked by this if they didn't like it. Every year you were like, well, now he's 38, now he's 39. Look, enjoy this last year. Enjoy that ring, dickhead. That's over for him. And obviously the joke is, I mean, listen, I will say, I don't think I underestimate Tom Brady as much as HGH. Understand, fans, I'll always have the sickest takes on every sport. So, okay, anyway, the joke is, obviously, he aged like fucking fine wine, didn't he? And if anything, thanks to that fountain of youth he found, magically, he looks like he's about 10 years younger now, Dom, than he did when he was 35. So, okay, fair play. But as I say, yeah, you just got to appreciate it. So if we bring this back, that's why the Perks example is the perfect one. Because listen, we're not just going to constantly blow our horn on this every week, but it's like, guys, it was only 1 year, and the year included a split victory. Go to MSI and then go to top 8 Worlds out, the hardest group ever. If that's your down year, if that's the bad year, guys, what, like, do you understand the stock market? Like, what are you doing? Like, you guys are selling that point. What? Like, again, I don't know if he's going to make it, but I'll tell you what, we can spin this back into LEC. You made a very accurate point earlier. Humanoid is all right as a mid laner. He doesn't look like he is this monster who's leading his whole team. You go over, you look at caPs. He ain't caPs right now. You go, like, actually, ironically, by the way, people like Perks and Larson look like the best mids right now. Like, actually, right now, the world, as much as everyone would have said there's no way Perks would be the best, dude, he's on course to potentially be.
Yeah. I mean, look, I did a mid lane tier list.
Who did you have?
So my number one, I think you just have to say Larson. Like, even though I did, like,
just the performances, If
you're just looking at the first 7 games, I think you have to say Larson's number one. Number two, I think Vedio has been having like an insane split. I feel like this guy is actually like, he's the truth. Like, he's really doing it this split.
Yes.
And then like third, I forgot, like, who did I have third? I mean, I had Humanoid third, and then I had Perks fourth and caPs fifth. Like, so I actually have Perks over caPs right now, just because I feel like caPs has had so many weird games. And then when you saw Perks play against caPs, like, I mean, obviously that's not a matchup that Corki is supposed to win or anything, but caPs was kind of invisible for the entire game. So it's one of those things where I think it's really hard to rate mid laners of the LEC. But what's so crazy to me is how close they are, because it's not like before in LEC 2020 with caPs, you'd be like, oh, you know, he's the best, right? It would be like, no, he is like 2 tiers above the next. Like, the next person is not even human compared to him. Like, it is, you're on different levels, different planes of existence right now. So for me, I think the crazy thing is, like, how is caPs in the mix? Like, how is he mortal? Like, to me, it's not as surprising that Humanoid went from, in my mind, being like the first to the third. It's like, how is caPs even close to the rest of these people based off what we've seen before? And especially like in metas, like you would think that, like, you have the ability to play LeBlanc right now. That is a caPs champion. You have the ability to play Silas into a lot of these champions. Silas was a caPs champion.
Some of these picks are weird. I'm with you on that, mate.
All of those champions are like caPs champions. You think about caPs like taking over games on TF, taking over games on Silas. You remember his like Orianna, like Zoe, LeBlanc, like he could play everything. It wasn't like he was just only good on a few picks like Aurelia and Akali, and those aren't in the meta anymore. And that's what led you to this situation. It's confusing as to like what could have happened between these like this like year essentially. And it's not even a year, to be honest. At this point last year, with G2 doing as well as they did, people still thought it was like a super team that was going to win everything. It wasn't like
people have written that, dude. If you go back to the moment before summer playoffs began, the two top teams in the league were G2 and Rogue, and the logic was, well, Rogue will fail, so G2 probably makes it, right?
Yeah, people thought they could be the best team, not making playoffs. Absolutely. Like, oh, they possibly could be the best team. So it's not actually been that long that we've seen this. It just feels like it's been a lot longer because there's been like a couple failures at the end there, spring playoffs, summer playoffs, that have made you like really stuck in your mind as like, oh, this is a failure for G2. Therefore, it's a failure for caPs. So, I mean, that's just something that has been like bugging me every single time I watch G2 is it's so hard to look at that team and not focus on mid because the core of that team was caPs. Yeah. It was caPs and Jankos. Like they were in the middle of the map. Like those are really important players. And I feel like Jankos is still good. I feel like he's still pretty much playing at the level that he was for like the last year or so. I don't think that he's the best jungler by far in LEC, but I still think he's like a top 3 jungler in the league. I just want to see the other part of it. I want to see the real G2 come out because that's how this team actually ends up winning a split.
Yeah, those are 2 factors I want to hit. So first of all, when Jankos wins his MVP, one of them he won with caPs. It was the duo. It was how he played with caPs that was so amazing. He sort of like, here's the thing, in my opinion, Jankos is also, funnily enough, done the jungle equivalent of the mid lane player who goes from the fucking assassin player to the amazing mid. He's done the one where I was the mechanical Lee Sin, outplay you all for shit, which he only does, you notice he sort of like skill picks that when he thinks it's just like necessary. But he became like everyone because the idea is the reason you become more conservative is you know what works. You try and just take high percentage chances instead of doing like high variance gambles, right? Essentially, when you become older, it's a young man's game to gamble everything because you've been broke already your whole life. You never had success. The problem I have with Jankos is this: he will look not very good when his team isn't good because at this point in his career, he's an activator. His job is to activate other people, and that's how you win the game. He isn't going to be like fucking self-made when he has one of those guy games where he just smashes the whole game and you can see raw mechanical outplay. He's not going to do that. And then on the caPs angle, you've hit a perfect filter for me as well. Because as someone who studied all the mage players, I'll tell you right now the difference between the master mage player and the one you got to be worried about. And Corki is the fucking pick right now. Because Corki is a pick. You might know, they might see the reference I'm making here to how Reckless had certain champions in the bottom lane that were like this. If you play Corki and you're not playing an aggressive style, you can just be invisible and never die. You just fuck off all the fights all the time. You just stay slightly too far back, throwing those fucking bombs. Oh, that's it. Like, mate, that's one of those champions that you can tell if someone picked it because they're like, I can sort of play it in this matchup, so I'm like begrudgingly picking it. Or you can tell if someone picks it, like, I'm going to win this whole game with this player. Because I have to say, like, just in general in LEC, there's some mad questionable fucking package uses on that champion. Don't play that champion if you don't know how the fucking package works. You idiot. That's the most OP shit ever if you know how that works.
Yeah, I mean, it is fucking OP, but I feel like the other thing is like, there's champions like Corki that you can just tell mid laners don't like playing. It's like the equivalent of Jarvan in the jungle, where no one's sitting there practicing Jarvan like in solo queue, like, oh, I'm gonna put in a bunch of Jarvan games, make sure that my Jarvan is clean. Like no one likes playing that shit. Same way in competitive, I feel like people don't really embrace that champion being in the meta. They're like, oh, I'll just pick it because I have to. But they're not going to practice it, and they're not going to be like the person in scrims. It's like, yeah, let's make sure we get a couple Corki games this week. They'll be like, yeah, it's probably going to be banned. No use of playing it. Like, we're probably going to ban it on red side anyway. So if it's up like on stage, I'll play it and I'll play it well every single time. But you can just tell the teams that actually understand what Corki is and how to play with it, and teams that just let it sit there and just have no pressure the entire game. Don't fight on the right timings with package. You see these random package timers all across the world. Like, I've been losing my mind in LPL seeing people take it a minute and a half before Dragon. We just need to like, and I swear it just becomes, it's because Corki's a boring champion.
Yeah.
People don't like fucking playing Corki. Yep. So they're not going to actually perfect it. They're not going to hone it in the same way that I'm sure these guys want to be like a master LeBlanc, or like as a jungler, you want to be a really good Lee Sin. Like a lot of people just don't view the champion as having enough depth for them to really invest time and become like a real like master of the champion.
Want to see more cool, funny, interesting clips based on topics from my content? Well, subscribe to this channel then, or, be a pleb and don't.